appreciation for His Excellency the President, Mr. Adama Barrow, for his unflinching support for this program, but also to welcome all those who are here today. Senior government officials are here today. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Director of the Department of Information Services, the DG of GRTS, and all other dignitaries who are here today. We welcome you. We are looking forward to a very interesting discussion. Like we said, this is an interface between the public and the government to bridge the gap between government and the public, but also to ensure that the public has access to the information they need to make informed choices. Mbadingol mbatentula mbajala nanying ministerial MANSA KUNDA bitilo arjumo October karotili mwani lulu. Konga fanyamento Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services na hajo wolong kajo ko banko dingol ni MANSA KUNDA kakacha. Put banko dingol salong MANSA KUNDA muna kudo, MANSA KUNDA fanang salong muna banko dingol suloti. Wala nga nyim programa organize pisaja banko dingol ni MANSA KUNDA si kacha sike kacha mialong kabe kumayala pour un salong muna be kiring. Bidong lung kuma balong MANSA KUNDA kuma balong ngamin soja wolong minister mialong atel mata jata kende abundala. Ika 500 bol Dr. Sabal anala timo be Dr. Bite Bijang, Dr. Jabejang ala Permanent Secretary, Dr. Nyasi aning Dr. Sabali. Pour kamunke ka fale bi jata kende abunda ayuba maraka nyamila jarlo bunda be nyadi le alfanan safai almialon ko alafta wolla pour MANSA KUNDA e tama. Dum baten to lamba jera mi bebi jambi be kontona be tentu lambe jayla. Mbokay manglan dalal si tay suñ ministériel MANSA KUNDA fi si conference center tay si weri october ñaari fukki fan ak juróom di wane nag initiative MANSA KUNDA ñun Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Service ñun ñoo ko commencé woon di gis ne li nga xam ne moo nekk diggante ak nguur si wàllu xibaar ñu yaatal ko nguur xam lan la askan bi di jëf jànkuwantel lan mooy seen xalaat ak lan mooy seen bébét askan bi déglu nguur ñu wax leen ñoom tamit lan mooy seen éene seen pas-pas ak lan mooy seen liggéey mi nga xam ne moom lañ nekk di jëfandikoo si mbiri wér gu yaram. Konte am nañ fi Minister of Health bi nga ne mooy Dr. Sabali ak timam bi yépp Dr. Dia mu ngi fi ministre bi Dr. Samate mu ngi fi ak Permanent Secretary Dr. Dia Dr. Sabali Dr. Nyasi ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi fi ak Dr. Bite pour ñu waxtaan ak yéen wax leen naka lañ nekk di doxalee mbiri wér gu yaram gi. Konte waxtaan gi dina neex ñu ngi seen di nuyu ñëpp nag ñi nga xam ne ñoo fi teew tey di leen wax ne di leen dalal jàmm di leen jaajëf bu baax a baax ak team bi nga xam ne mooy media team si. kon duñ def dara lu dul ñu may Minister of Health Dr. Samate mu ñëw fii saani ay kàddu wax leen moom lan mooy liggéeyam ak lan lañ nekk di liggéey ak lan mooy seen éene pour li nga xam ne mooy wér-gu-yaram si biir réew mi Dr. Samate, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Dr. Ismail Assise, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Health officials, our guests here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the media, viewers wherever they may be. We are delighted to stand in front of you today to have a tete-a-tete with the public with regards to the health sector, with regards to what we are doing, and regards to the health of the people of this country. We thank the Minister of Information and his entire team for making this possible. This is something we've been yearning for ever since, for us to be able to send the message across to the people of the country with regards to what we are doing. Since we work for the people, they need to know what we are doing. So availing us the opportunity to have that access to present what we are doing is remarkable, and we thank you and we congratulate you for making that possible. We thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Adama Barrow, for creating such a wonderful environment for us to be able to face the public and discuss, take questions, take comments, and whatever the interactions lead to. As a government, we are prepared, and we thank him for that leadership. because typically the followers do what the leader advises and what the leader portrays. So we thank him for giving us that opportunity and that kind of mandate for us to say what government is doing in a frank, open manner. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are all aware of the fact that for meaningful socioeconomic development of any nation, the people need to be healthy. We are aware of the fact that for children to go to school, for teachers to teach, they need to be healthy. For people to go to the farm, they need to be healthy. For road construction, for whatever work, for journalists to cover this event, they need to be healthy. Of course, for health workers to be able to provide the health services, they need to be healthy. So that means a healthy nation, as they say, is a wealthy nation. There cannot be any meaningful development without having the people being healthy. That said and done, that realization has been very strong in the minds of His Excellency, the mind of His Excellency and his government. Since His Excellency's government came into office over 7 years ago now, that realization came to the forefront. But we cannot say where we are today without going a little backwards in history. When His Excellency's government came in office, we inherited dilapidated health infrastructure. We inherited obsolete equipment. A lot of times we didn't even have what we needed to do the basic operations. We all remember how the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital looked like. We all remember how the polyclinic looked like. And there was paucity with regards to skills. So the challenges were numerous. Of course, scarcity of medications and medical consumables was the order of the day. But of course, when we came in government, His Excellency vowed to change that situation. And he said, we cannot continue to cry over spilt milk. Yes, we inherited that situation, but we cannot continue to complain and cry over the bad situation. We have to do something about it. And that's something we started to do since the onset of his administration. We looked at it in various areas because the facilities we had were all dilapidated in most cases. So he said we needed to renovate them, to make them habitable, to ensure that the people who work there and the people who go there as patients receive care in dignified environments, in environments that are fit for purpose, in environments that function and look like hospitals. But that said and done, we also realized that, of course, they say Gambia is small, but it's not that small when it comes to population distribution, when it comes to the diversity of the people, where they dwell, and so on. So it is equally important to increase access, to take health care to the doorsteps of the people, to ensure that we build more health facilities. So to this end, and so you have all seen the massive construction projects in the health sector. We have seen the Farato Teaching Hospital that is coming on, state of the art. Millions of dollars are being spent there to ensure that the people of this country get quality services. The first phase, inshallah, will be completed this December, and it will be inaugurated sometime early next year. This facility boasts of intensive care units that really we have never seen in this country. It boasts of clinical areas. It will host the National Public Health Laboratory, state of the art. It will host a world-class imaging center where you have CT scanners, MRI scanners, and so on and so forth. So it is a big plus. Now, we have also seen within the same complex, the government has realized that clinical waste in this country, waste from hospitals, bandages, dressing materials, human parts that have been removed used to be dumped at the dump sites. We say that is not acceptable. Children would go there and scavenge. Rainwater will wash it into the streams. People go there to fish. We say we have to deal with medical waste management in this country. And we have a state-of-the-art medical waste management center at Farato and the smaller one at Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital. In the same medical waste management system, we have gotten 40 medical incinerators in 40 health facilities across the length and breadth of this country. Equally, each of the 7 health regions has gotten a containerized incinerator in the regions. And of course, even the private facilities are not left behind, and the facilities that do not have incinerators. We have 4 refrigerated vehicles that go around to collect medical waste to ensure that the people of this country are protected from contaminated materials. This is all part of the infrastructure development. Now, recently, His Excellency inaugurated 5 brand new modern health centers across the length and breadth of this country. And sometime, inshallah, early next year, one will be, a major health center will be inaugurated in Jau. I went to visit that facility yesterday, and construction work is going on. 2 months ago, we laid the foundation stone for 6 health posts, and construction work has started. And inshallah, next month, we'll equally lay foundation stone for 8 other health posts. A lot is happening when it comes to infrastructure development. We have equally seen the renovation in Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital. I think all of you should pay that place a visit and see the modernization, the expansion work that is going on there, and the modernization of the polyclinic in Banjul. These are all coming on. Work has also started at the Food and Drug Laboratory at Brusubi. We all remember the very sad incident of AKI in this country, devastating for children, for families, for all Gambians, for the government, everybody. But we said, inshallah, that should never happen in this country again. But we can only do that if we are able to test what comes in here. Because of that, the government and partners are building the National Food and Drug Laboratory at Brusubi, and construction work is far ahead. Now, we decided to put a food component in it because the foods coming into Gambia are also not tested. We said the last time we had challenges with drugs. This time we don't want challenges with either drugs or foods. So we put in a food component, and very soon, inshallah, all drugs and foods that come into this country for the consumption of Gambians will all be tested. A lot of work is being done also in Buyam Health Center. Buyam Health Center, Buyam Hospital, Buyam General Hospital is getting big expansion work costing tens of millions of dollars. Equally speaking, Brikama Bar Health Center is also getting quite some expansion, the construction of a theater and a host of other things. Why are we doing all this? Because we want health services to be brought to the doorsteps of people. Yes, infrastructure development, but you can have buildings without equipment. They are just like homes. To make it health facilities, we need to get equipment. And believe me, for the past few years, government and partners, we have procured so many life-saving equipment. When some people visit some of these health facilities, they are surprised that these are in Gambia. They start wondering. We got visitors from partners here, local partners who are in the healthcare services too, delivery systems, and from outside. And they are wondering these are here. So provision of life-saving equipment, massive ones, including various types of monitors, various types of scanning equipment, ultrasound machines, CT scanners we are buying. And recently, we have gotten some digital X-ray equipment. And not stopping at that, where X-ray services are provided, they need to be structured in such a way that the people surrounding the building and the people within the building are protected. And we've gotten that updated services in our facilities. We have 5 brand new digital X-ray machines that are in country. They will be inaugurated soon. So a lot is happening with regards to service provision, with regards to strengthening the sector. But of course, we cannot also just have the equipment in beautiful facilities without trained manpower. There is a shortage of healthcare service providers all throughout the world. However, countries are doing various things. We are all strategizing to ensure that we build capacity locally. Gambia has been benefiting from support from other partners, other countries with regards to providing specialists. We have a medical school. A lot of doctors have been trained now. The numbers are grossly inadequate still. But we believe for sustainability, we should be able to train people to specialize in the country. And I'm happy to inform you, all of you, that postgraduate training for medical specialization has started in this country a few years ago under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow. In the postgraduate training program, with the support of the World Bank, we are able to bring in up to 20 very highly qualified professors and senior consultants of the various medical specialties to come to Gambia, to work at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, provide services for Gambians, in the process train Gambians to become like that. And as I speak to you, we have up to 100 Gambian doctors. They are already doctors, but they are specializing, up to 100 of them who are becoming specialists in various fields, obstetrics and gynecology, internal medicine, pediatrics, family medicine, and so on and so forth, including surgery, urology, and the rest of it. I think this is a very, very big plus for this country in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, because some will even finish their training program in 2 years or even less. In 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all these 100 would have graduated, and we would have gotten 100 or more specialists in this country. I think this is phenomenal. But of course, medical service delivery is teamwork. Doctors cannot do it alone. We need the whole complement of doctors, public health officials, nurses, and so on, and laboratory scientists. So the nurses are also being trained to specialize in perioperative nursing, in midwifery, in anesthesia, and so on and so forth. Public health officials are being trained in so many areas. In surveillance, we have been training. We have a very successful training program, field epidemiology, a flagship program that is going on here. They are being trained in so many aspects of infection prevention and control, and so on. Pharmacists are being trained, laboratory scientists are being trained, and I think it will also excite you to know that the Gambia now has a dental training program which the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the University of the Gambia, is carrying out. Inshallah, in 2026, we would graduate our first batch of locally trained dentists in this country. Another thing we want to start in January 2025 is the training of pharmacists in this country. The University of the Gambia, under the Ministry of Higher Education and the Ministry of Health, are collaborating to train pharmacists in this country so that we have Gambian trained pharmacists. So a lot of opportunities for the young ones coming up. But these are all strategies to strengthen the health system. So we are tackling the health system with regards to provision of access points and also the provision of drugs. Yes, it is challenging. Every now and then we hear about we don't have enough drugs here and there. Sometimes it is true, sometimes it is not totally true. But I think we should be cognizant of the fact that every item used in the hospital, all medical items, from drugs to cotton wool to plaster to fluids, everything is imported into the Gambia. Not a single item is manufactured here. Of course, when we depend entirely from outside, challenges are bound to occur. But of course, government over the past few years has intensified the drive to provide medicines of high quality all the time to the people of this country. What has been allocated for procurement of drugs under the leadership of His Excellency since he came into office has already tripled from what we inherited. The biggest challenge we have with regards to medicines is the suppliers. I must say here, the biggest challenge we have as a government, and unfortunately, the suppliers are Gambian suppliers who are not patriotic enough. They go through the process, they win the contracts to supply drugs under the GPPA rules, and when it is time to deliver, they dilly-dally until we threaten to take them to court. That has been a big challenge. I'm sure probably some of you are even getting ready to ask that question, but I will tell you what the biggest challenge is. The current supply of medicines, the one who is supposed to bring them, after fulfilling the requirement, and that is the law. If we are procuring medications, the law says follow A, B, and C. They tender, they provide documents, they win, time to supply, one excuse after the other. And since we're in a democracy, we have to follow the law to deal with them. We cannot do anything other than following the law to deal with them. This has been a big problem, but government is looking very seriously at alternative ways of dealing with the problem for good. But that notwithstanding, the hospitals have medications. I want to clarify that. They don't have all. Yesterday, I was in Basse Health Center. In fact, this morning, I came from the provinces. Just on track to find out. I was in their store. They have analgesics, they have antibiotics, they have fluids, they have anti-diabetic drugs, they have antihypertensives. So it's ironical sometimes when we hear, but when we go to see, we realize that it's something different. So a lot is happening with regards to health sector strengthening, health system strengthening, and I'm sure there is a lot to say. But at this juncture, if you want me to, sorry?
Just going to the local language, just 3-4 minutes, just to summarize.
Yo, mbalbe konton na badingol min bebe jang, mi lamoy lalu be anin jiber lalbe. Mol min bebe nying mo kono jang, anin mol min ben jibe kambanta. Bi mbe jata kende ala bunda ala kajakan. Mbe Honorable Ismaila Cisse Tentula mba konton anala timo mbe anin journalist ol min bebe jang. Pour ka nying silo din tolla pour nim banko mol ya kaja. Nying ko ngatan tol bulu bak katun mbe nyine kan. Pour banko molu kala long mbe minto. Katun ga dogo min beke a doata watsan ka ke banko molle. Andu mol mi a long ko ka dogo keye nyanta lon na le be doku sifa jumalal. Ningi tol fane fengol so do mi a long ko ay sola isa fo ko nyine tol sola. Kadun dobe je nimma moy altol be min fola nta lon na problem o min beje. Nta lon na alla sula ko mu minti. Bari mbe min bu fokan bin president barola mansa kunda sita. Nga jada kende ala bunda tara kolari baba kele. Loptani jama nga tare be kotoring banjul loptano be nyamin nu ba al halo min to ngamira o mam mo kumpa. Polyclinic be nyamin amam mo kumpa. Nga taraw loptano jama be batari mbake. Nata tarafana joran dolu joran jamalle kotota dolu man soto ndefa wato nka operation ke banjul loptano kono masumo dolu beje mi a lon ko mantaraje nke operation ko la fen dolu wolu kilinde be loptano beto no sol se boring ya fujang sasa to do sula la kara dole ni boroita ya samboto no si fare taraja andi boro la manko no be kala mutale kabro wato ku jamal da mankita kablu wato by bin president baro sita ako keke bin bonta duma o ka kumbo la ko la nafata wala ibe keke dole nyinila ka bu nyindo te ko la no wodon ko min tambida ngole tarakering bay katulo fala ka o ka wato be o man nafaso ndolbe mun kelano pour ka o al halo fali ay ndol ya mari minna akon allo tano lu lafa banko kan mimbe je nge kuta kutiyanke banjul lotan ba mobe a jele saabe nyami ngamira momo gambian ka gambian kadun taji kontano be jele kadun abe kutani kadun sasa to mobe ga sasa duwa bal sasa bu hadama di wala bal wala kon bal min sasa to tata lotano to anyanta je talla al halu lo miya lon ko hana hakilo se tantu bal nata ta je lotano mantara betari do kulal fonte la do ko kelano sasa to fanante kontano wala sabu banjul lotano ba be je do kukan be polyclinic faran do kukan ni mi nyaso do se tambi je waje do ko min beje anum tan bo bani la katum banko ko kun tol ka kin ka kal tolle bari nin be ko kala al fanan ka wakil al kal jibe banko ndol wato ka sodo ka fo ko nyimmo karal tolle be marla nyi do ko bin tolle beje kunu mo dolle beje bin tolle beje so na dolle bida dunya dolle nyam bari ndolbe min be kan chain ku kendol tol lafa ali fanan ali tal yejibe bari mbello tan kuta jamalo kan faral to tan ba moliya jeli abe nyame no ko ngamin fo angale kan lo tan sambe lo pare be domorolu nimborol testé dula lo kan wa hayna wobe busubi president lo tan kuta lulu bayele ngwato kono ngando albe woje television otole lo tan kuta dobina yellanja wote mela inshallah wo mo health center ballet buyam lotano kono doku babeje minta da kanya million kono million jama bikama ba doku jama beje mina lotan kuto fanan do lola inshallah base bina lotan kuto sodol inshallah bikama jantanan bina lotan kuto sodol wol be mu yirwa kulleti miya lonko e be kere min karina la bita bla do lu yella pour ka foundation la min bita fo lotan kanyan ding sey kari tambila nga place nga foundation stone la min tata pour loptani woro kunum bota wol jibe kan budu nyinal mu ko ci yirwa la karola loptano la karola bari loptano fanan bun kan so ko joran de taraji man sakunda ni partner li joran jama sang mi a lonko inata loptano to sai budu anu fanan be karandi rola be doctor karandi kan gan mi a lonko sai at jabla yata bantala banko lu kan pour ka specialize wolen ka doktoro karandi pour mimbe fararo kala ka doktoro karandi mimbe kala musolla doktoro ka doktoro karandi mimbe kala dinu wala doktoro dentist o fanan be karan kan jansa ni ka nyin do ko inshallah nyin 2025 bori pharmacist mi ka bori ko karan mina wol fanan karandi laja no sol be karandi karan kan ke la karan lafa to karan lafa jamala be ke kan nyin banko kan public health official fanan na karam be lafa kan jan kendet ka bu nin karam sembo ma wara jarabo sifa min laftala do so do nga borol fanan na ko borol la ko kuma ta bake be ya kalamuta wato wati ni wati samoy ko borol man so do laftanol to aka sotole ado beji aka mankele bari ka fuka buka soto aka mantaro nyam bari borol la manko ngo sifa la ko bin president baro sita ay million jamale lafa borolu minyanta sanna borol taranum ay wasaba fosi dula saba ay wasi fosi dula nani fang ay wasi budu pour borol ya lafa borolo min kam batandi borol la koto walen borolo yalon bori fembi ka da Gambia boro be ka bonam bantale nimman sakunda ko lafanyin bori nangamolla nato bori nangamo nga advertise molu sotota miya lon ko koytol ba soplala non silo li noma GPP la silolo iko karile a win o kari nin contract ko santa ajanda borol nata wato minna dolu jama isaleti andu miya balafa wara kato minika jamal min kan tabden wol Gambian kolla wol faydo don defe wol man bala faso do bankoy c'est problem on not in say noma bari ba be democracy le kono mo bi kata no yenya pa marika ise min ke no wolan ka mari samba nyaati luwa nyaati no ba ni ba samba luwa nyaati no wakata mo tala wa tan do be borol batula be luwa no mala bari be borol batula a wen batan di bake bari man sakunda e fero do kele ba kashaka ne sa mi alon ko be silo so dolale pour ñi heldo mi mol kaso do borol la ko pour ka bondi ñim banko ka donc jamale be ke kan jararo fannala bari kanyim min be foten ana famu munati wala molla jata kenda lafa ni lu lo tanon lota borol nata jorongol santa molu karanta nganta sutero kala molla jata kenda la lafa to andum ba ko la ko no sutero kele be senarin kayto to ika ko mi health indicators na Gambia la health indicators lafata bake e better improve fa bake andum ngajiki jama so ko health indicators be continue la le ka improve ngalo nin ka jabe yirwa kan mbol fola mina wol senen dilale bari be president Barrow tentula bake anala mansa kunda kadu nyaaje be nyinkul be kala no president Barrow le lotam fe sarun bring budget o nata ako health la budget o lafa kadu health wa important da bake president min la fa mon la jata ken wala bo kala no bari health system o fanan kono na yirwa balle keje na reform jamal le keje falindi jamal le keje sa ko na fulo la manan ko la na ko mi inherit health system o to ko dolu being president Barola man sa kunda na ta wol mu ku dimindi balle health system o la na fulo kama ka tamandi ni nyame being dol na tan ko fo yo falin ka fu ni wo man falin mol nyanta jara wo mi soto la man ata soto ko kirimbo ko no le mun nundo ka je ka impress badi molla wuli keme jama million o ka impress di aka kinyami do ala donne ala ba bin president Barrow sita ako fo el fali andu ngol fali sai wol bika jo min bi joro be kala min nyanta joro kala ika jo aita min nyanta jola ika min karandi o min be do kola ila account to directly sa mol bi ka koro muta bago kono ka fo to kata staff le jo base warabe kama ba woko bring oma ngakelole ma won kele bala di miya lonko hani sai dolu bige folo wala na kay kilin kari fula kari sabal duran docteur samatete ise nan na talo ke facebook be ko folo nyina mu kelot bige no dula block ngo te kela o kelo hani sai wala be keri don sa senian dalla bari wonna na tan na famune la Gambia jam aya sabule partner mi ke the World Bank Global Fund UNICEF WHO ye jiko so na mansa kunda to symbol of biya lonko wala sabu ka nyindula lon ni wali ya lonko ka mindi abikata ka anyanta tare dami wala intelligence symbol wata ibe mol kono ye mol so min ka ko foi ni wali ya ka mindi abikata anyama den hanin yin fen kundi ni talo lai and I think that's very important to say it in English too with regards to the accountability mechanisms we put in place ensuring that people are accountable, financial accountability, performance accountability. This has endeared us to the partners. That is why the partners are coming forward with a lot of support for the country. That's equally why we are able to construct all these big facilities with the help of World Bank, WHO, and so on and so forth. Because they have seen the commitment from the government, the highest level, His Excellency, from ourselves, our humble selves, and the team. And I think ensuring accountability is what is yielding us all that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Samate, for that very brilliant presentation. Now we will move on to the next item, where we'll watch a brief documentary of this health sector. Then we'll give the chance for the minister's team to introduce themselves and the sector they represent. Thank you.
In its continued effort to improve healthcare access and quality across the Gambia, the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Health, has successfully built and inaugurated new health facilities across the country. These state-of-the-art centers bring essential healthcare services closer to our communities, ensuring that quality healthcare is just a step away for Gambians across the nation.
Parce que angana cheki gali independence ngana lita ma lenki okudan ke se hunni nyama de mi dural lopitani kitana okuna ke wala munna ha ore ay ongi ke danga na do mi nyube lu ga tawno karo kuy oli soanyera ke kompom pakke be ga lopitani ke di alo yokebe gari ga sigitu manna ke be khanne maka a sufficient intenya ni kunda inakatu jarene ere access kai maka igakatu ni kinyano mako tora ange ngana hai seren kamma ado tora ke ga kebe imme kamma kebe ga tora ke hai ni kenna hai ni tiya gabane ka tora nga kebe kamma kenya gon piliana hai ni okuya gon piliana ke tora wari his excellency mekundu ama fahamu tora be ganyo ko kamado access intanga ube goyi kata health facility nga o kondani o shomo ko siri
menen hanki ne fawama jimara do ko men jetta mo men naba mo bansang sina base sina dum gambisara alhamdulillah rabbil alamin alla itti dum don addi dum do jimara do meden hebi hen wentare si neɗɗo golli e leydi cellal ɓuri ɗum moƴƴude e leydi heewani sabi neɗɗo kala ko o heɓata e aduna si tawi o heɓani cellal tawa o heɓani ko cellal ngal woni yeeso kala ko neɗɗo ɗaɓɓata si a heɓi cellal hankadi si faaleɗa goɗɗum hanki komin tampanno Allah ustinden tampere meɗen weltino bete
mandin kol ko tokoro ko dia holu fongole da inte be jande ni be tano lo to fanan be ja on sa fendim fonoje kunun anin bi be non ko otu monum jat ken ya be mankirin to bul baza manki me mama to kumbuka soto bari nin fengo mu min kon ni nemo tenturo na jayo ni ngaw dati jannale wato den na safo le ben nal talal atum tumo ni Musa sara dante ngoya ma suto ka kol ke dulal to na Musa sata na ma ko ya sambanye jang ni wona ran kana wato aka wato ta bari bi katara lari la bu kono suto mo ka afoye ko nte sa sata doro nkan nan yimno su kendol ko li jandoro fon ka moto tay kane kamma ibi kelela bu ko ne kana loptano je ka wulu so mandila mol ke fula so fandi ji kanole kane ke tare loptano o mun na kontaan da folo sababol keta men merendinte bedwali ala mala ni so kairola
Realization of the government agenda initiatives.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. That is not only impressive, it is also unprecedented. Since independence, I have not seen such a massive health infrastructural development in this country. So bravo to you and your team. But also, I think we'll have to thank His Excellency the President for his vision and his steadfastness and his dedication to promoting health. I'll give you only 3 minutes each. Your name, your designation, the sector you represent, and also briefly the
I am the one currently leading the Directorate of Health Services, and the function of the Directorate of Health Services is responsible for promotion, preservation of health services. And the duties include prevention, treatment, limitation, and suppression of diseases. The Directorate of Health Services is also responsible for taking timely investigation to respond to diseases, to investigate the reasons why diseases are happening, and to take timely, precise decisions to make sure that we control or eliminate the outbreak of diseases. Under the Directorate of Health Services, we have 7 programs, and all the regional directorates are under the Director of Health Services. In precise, the Directorate of Health Services is the technical advisor to both the Permanent Secretary and the Honorable Minister of Health. Thank you.
In a local language of your choice? If you don't come, you can just pass. Right?
Thank you.
Now we have Dr. Sabali, please.
Good evening, honorable ministers here present, senior government officials, and viewers and media team here. I am Babandin Sabali, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Technical, also overseeing the National Pharmaceutical Services. Honorable Minister already alluded to so many programs and progresses in the health sector. One area that I want to elaborate further is the health technologies and supply chain management system in the country. It's gratifying to know that the Ministry of Health has acquired a fleet of vehicles that will assist the distribution of health products to the last miles in this country. That strategy, we call it last mile assurance. So already this fleet of vehicles are distributed to all regional medical stores, and use of ambulances will be a thing of past to carry health products to health facilities. Previously, we used ambulances to distribute drugs from the regional medical store to health facilities. But the acquisition of this fleet will now enhance distribution of health products to health facilities. Additionally, the Ministry of Health has acquired through partners what we refer to as electronic logistic management information system. This system assists in creating visibility within the supply chain, meaning whatever transaction happen at anywhere in the health facilities, one can able to track and trace it. This enhances accountability and transparency. More importantly, at the click of a button, you will know exactly the stock level at the farthest point in this country. All this are geared towards ensuring that we create access to the health, to the people of this country. It's important also to know that very soon next year, we will train homegrown pharmacists in this country. Again, this is a collaborative effort between Ministry of Higher Education, World Bank, Global Fund, and other partners. On that note, I want to thank everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
P.S. Ja?
Thank you. My name is Omar Ja, the Permanent Secretary 1. We have 2 permanent secretaries because of the multifaceted nature of the health sector. It's very, very wide. So I think normally when we listen to the Honorable Minister, we have seen the building up of confidence from the donors. We receive large sums of money to make sure now that infrastructurally, the Minister, as well as the training and the equipment. So my role is to make sure now that deadlines are met, as well as monies spent optimally, as well as the manpower that is needed to make sure now that the health sector is moving forward. There are a lot of activities in terms of directorates in the regions, as well as our directorates within the ministry to coordinate them, as well as advising the Honorable Minister in terms of the policy decisions and also regulatory regulations. These are my role in the ministry, and I think since I joined, we have seen a lot of progress in such, and I hope that the challenges also that we are facing in terms of drug, there are a lot of challenges. I'll make sure also that the suppliers that we contract, at least they fulfill their bit of the contracts to make sure now that drugs are available in this country, which is also a challenge for us because, as the Honorable Minister has just pointed out, we didn't have testing for ourselves. We also don't manufacture drugs here. We have to bring them from abroad. So we have 2 challenges there. It's the challenge of supply chain, where you have, because of the war and other problems in the world, so the containers are affected. Another thing, we have also the challenge of regulation, because I believe that GPPA, when they look at health, and they do look at health in a specific manner, I believe that also is affecting, for example, the availability of drug. If GPPA understands that other sectors maybe they are, operational based on yearly or quarterly, but in health, we operate based on maybe hourly. So I think the rules that are applied on other sectors in terms of purchase should not be the same. It should not be applicable also to health. These are issues that we're facing, but I hope that, Salah, as time goes, we'll be able to
Thank you. Thank you very much. Finally, Dr. Bitey, just your name designation and the mandate of the...
Okay. Thank you, Honorable.
Just briefly, please. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mustafa Bitey. I'm the Chief Medical Director of the Premier Hospital in the Gambia. That's the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. We are responsible for providing specialist care for all patients in this country. So what that means is that, just to be brief, is that we need, I hear people say, you don't need to build more facilities. Just make EFSTH the best, you know. So we are the teaching hospital. We want to only deal with specialist issues. And if we deal with general hospital issues, we'll be overwhelmed and there will be space issues. So that's why there's a need to make sure that we expand the access and we reduce specialist services only and deliver that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now we've reached the most interesting part of this program, which is the Q&A. We'll now open the floors. We'll take 3 questions at a time, and we'll give the chance to our guests to answer those 3 questions. Now we'll be alternating. The first set of questions will be taken from this side, 3 from this side, then the next set we'll take from that side. That's how we'll be alternating. So we'll get 3 questions from this side. We'll start with the young lady over there. Thank you. So everyone has a right to ask only 1 question, and the questions must be brief as well. Please, only 1 question, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am happy to be here today. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Information, for making this program inclusive. And this is something that we very much appreciated. I am the Cisse. The question that I have is to the Honorable Minister. For many years now, deaf people have been struggling in hospitals, in health centers. So how can you make these centers accessible to deaf people? I have a recommendation. Is it possible to have your nurses train on basic sign language or on sign language in collaboration with Deaf Association? Thank you very much.
Next question.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to each and everyone. My name is Mas Mane. I'm a trained nurse. My question is going to be very precise and straightforward. As a personnel who is directly dealing with patients, I have had first-hand information and events on incidents, and I want to take 2 places as an example. That is EFSTH and Brikama Health Center. As the boss rightly said, the function of EFSTH probably is to focus on specialized cases, but unfortunately they are overwhelmed with other general cases, which shows that there is a lack or a gap somewhere. Having said that, I believe that the EFSTH outpatient, which is Ndemban, as of now, and it has been a problem in terms of resources, especially material resources. That is to say, for almost a year now, it will be very difficult for somebody to be rushed into the Ndemban Health facility right now with a heart attack, and for the nurses and the doctors to be able to do something. They have the knowledge to do, but they don't have the material to do what they need, which means if one person had a heart attack right now and go to the Ndemban facility, there is high chances that they wouldn't have the resources. And if the boss is aware of this, I believe let him tell us what is the way forward. And the second part is...
One question.
No, it's 1 question. Okay. It's Brikama. Brikama is one of the most populated area, and as we speak right now, as I am speaking, they cannot do a simple full blood count with the French. And the bosses understand this. And I spoke to people that are there as of yesterday. If you cannot do a full blood count with the Frenzel, and it is headed by somebody who was one time Director of Health Services. So I think this is something that I want the bosses to look into and help. Come again?
What's the question now?
The question is why and what are they doing in order to relieve that issue in Brikama and the one in Denmark. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Mahitu Damod Lamin Juf, Joge Hilltop FM. Doctor, I want to ask the question in English and also repeat it in Wolof for both audiences, right? So the U.S. Embassy issued a travel advisory on the 16th of October 2024, and it reads, "The Gambia's health infrastructure is inadequate. Health services, hygiene, and quality control do not meet US standards of care. Pharmacies are not well regulated, and locally available medications may be unsafe. What is your ministry's response to this?" Laaj bi ma doon laaj si kàllaama nasaraan mooy ne réewi Amérique seen embassy bi am na kayit buñ fësal ci fukkeeli fan ak juróom-benn ci weer bii. Kayit bi liñ ci wax mooy ne réewi Gambia seen buntum paj mi maanaam tabax yi anam biñ nekkee doy na waar suñ health sector bi taxut koo mel noonu wàllum set gi ci buntum paj mi ak it lu jëm ci wàllu pharmacie sarta yiñ tëral yëpp daanaka daal nekk na ci standard boo xamante ne matut ni ko réewi Amérique buggee. Ma bëggoon a xam jëwriñ bi lan mooy tontoom ci lii nga xamante ne Amérique wax nañ ko. Jërëjëf.
Thank you very much. Now use this one. Yeah, use this one. Can I get the...
Yeah, thank you very much. For the first question, I think that is a very good suggestion. You know, that's why we say good ideas don't just have to come from government. Good ideas can come from any citizen. Governance is collective responsibility. Government has a role to play, but citizens also have roles to play. Sometimes your role, the citizens' role, and we are all citizens, by the way, we are officials, but we are equally citizens, is to give good suggestions. So that's a beautiful suggestion. So we will start engaging by Monday. I myself, inshallah, will tell the team to engage with the society so that we can look at how we train people and even have interpreters over there, sign language specialists from the start to be in the hospitals whilst we prepare to train more people. Believe me, many of us, if I myself can be trained, I'll be happy, because sometimes I wish to communicate, but it's difficult. And any opportunity to communicate with human beings, whether it is by sign language or by language, we should grab it, because it's good to be able to get the messages rightly across to people. Thank you. So we'll pick that up. The second one is with regards to the issue of the Brikama Health Center and Deban. Brikama Health Center is in a highly populated area. Generally, the hospital is under a lot of pressure. For your information, that is why we think Brikama needs a brand new hospital that is big and fit for purpose. That is why we are building that hospital that World Bank is supporting us to build, and we've acquired the land. But before then, certainly services need to be optimal. Sometimes it is not the issue of materials, or it's not the issue of equipment, it's an issue of attitudes by human beings in health facilities. Because if the place has a head and you have a full blood count machine that should function, you have consumables, you have reagents, then if it is not functioning, we'll find out why it's not functioning. But it is usually attitudinal, because every head should ensure that his facility functions. The minister cannot come and fix the toilet door in a health center, or to look at that equipment, or to look at every light. Then we wouldn't have time for policy. So every head of an institution, I'm happy you mentioned it. I think the heads of institutions, heads of health facilities are also hearing us. Every head of a health facility must run his facility, because that is what he is employed to do. We'll take it on board, we'll find out, because I'm not aware of this, because directly the minister is also not supposed to know whether full blood count functions in this place, or this functions in that place, that functions in that place, really. There are a lot of people before the minister who should know that. And then the country can run. So everybody should make sure that he does. The cleaner must make sure he cleans well. The CEO must make sure he runs the facility well. The laboratory people must make sure they run the lab well. Of course, at the end of the day, we need to check to confirm. I was in Basse last night. This time I was in Basse, going around the facility. And some of the findings I made were attitudinal problems. You climbing to the theater, the wall of the theater, the wall of the walkway, which is painted oil painted, and there is a lot of dry sputum on the wall. Is that for the minister to go and clean that? The hospital has administrators, it has so and so. So people in this country must do their work, rather than blaming minister and so on and so forth. I think that's where we also want the media also to help us. If they go and see the health facility in Basse is dirty, they put the picture of the health facility and the minister's picture on Facebook and WhatsApp. Then whoever in the facility does not even like the minister, he will leave it that way because it's the minister's picture and the dirty place they will put. But if you go there and you find out who is the head of Basse Health Center, you get his name, and you say, look at your hospital. You put his picture and the picture of the dirty place on the Facebook. Tomorrow you go, they will change it. So hold the people directly responsible. But if you want to put all the burden on the head of the institution, those who are even directly undermining the institution or the individual official will continue to do bad. So I think this is how we can improve that. With regards to Ndeba, the chief medical director is here, fortunately. He can talk about that. But I think those facilities have a lot of equipment. I don't know what you know about the inner details of the facility, because I don't think you work there. Some of the equipment they have, you might not know. You might hear the challenges. But one thing I want you to also know and appreciate. Sometimes healthcare providers also have to be honest with patients. We have seen a situation whereby a patient was rushed to a private facility. And we came to know, because we investigated, we came to know they did not have a ventilator. And that patient needed a ventilator. And they decided now to refer when it was getting late. And they said, look at the health sector. It doesn't have a single ventilator. Ndeban doesn't have a ventilator. FCH doesn't have a ventilator. That's grossly untrue. We have so many ventilators that are functioning. But because they couldn't provide a ventilator, rather than being honest to those people, these patients should have been transferred earlier than now. They just said, the health sector, we don't have ventilators. And that's from health workers, unfortunately. So we need to address that. I'm happy that the Directorate of Health Services is looking at all this. But there's always room for improvement. Emergency service delivery in this country, everybody is doing what we can do. But that doesn't mean that that is enough. We need to increase it. There are gaps, there are capacity gaps. Because when it comes to health manpower, you know very well that there are a lot of health manpower gaps. Gambia is a developing country. That's why we need to train more and more people. So we are getting there gradually, but there is always room for improvement, and we welcome your suggestions. And then sometimes it is also good you interface, not even just in this, but you interface with the teaching hospital, CMD, and talk about what you think can be done. The other one is with the advisory from the American government. I believe they provide regular advisory on various countries. So this is not unique to Gambia, I must first of all say. I think it's important to look at the context of it. So it is important as people look at this, we also look at what they say about other countries. Because the way people are presenting it is like Gambia was singled out and say our health sector is this, our security is this. No, it's not the case. There are regular advisories, look at country by country, and the CDC, which gives the health advisory comments on particular countries when it comes to health advisory. So if some people go and get the one for Gambia and display it, quite okay. We are happy to see it so that we can address it. But I want to say we should look at it in context. If they say it is below the American standard, we know that. Because we don't have the resources that America has. If we had all the resources, probably it will be better, because our country is a smaller country. So we are striving to get to that level. But they are making it clear to their people so that they know when they come to Gambia, they don't make it look like they're in America. Of course they are not in America. We all know that. So that is making it clear to the American citizens coming here that, yes, you are going to a country, but the system you meet there is not going to be like our own, which is fair enough, because what is spent sometimes in one medium-sized hospital in America when it comes to the health budget is more than our entire national health budget. This is the truth. And when somebody has acute appendicitis in Gambia and has acute appendicitis in the USA, in Japan, in UK, the treatment is the same. The person has to undergo anesthesia, has to use the same surgeons, everything has to be the same. We cannot say this is Gambia, that is America, so the treatment is different. But our resources are different. We are a poor nation. I think we also, we must all the time remember that. Of course, we should maximize the resources we have to ensure that service provision is optimal. But I think, to be honest, we have a long way before we reach the American level because it's a resource issue. Number two, the second one is the other part of the hygiene and so on. Well, there's room for improvement. I just commented on what I found in one health facility. It shouldn't be there. It's a human factor. So our team members need to buckle up to ensure there's hygiene. But it's not only the health sector. You have seen the markets also, the streets in Brikama, in Kanifing, in Serekunda. If they see those market areas where the food is being sold, probably they will also say food should not be eaten by Americans who come here because of where it is sold. We've seen the area. So it's a process, and we all need to buckle up. Yes, there are certain things where there are no excuses, because there's no excuse that people are there to clean. People are there, they have materials, and they do not clean. So we will all improve on that. When it comes to the polio they are talking about, you see, not that there is human transmission of polio in the Gambia. You see, sometimes when your system is very efficient, you yourself, you pick things and people use that against you. We are the ones who picked the vaccine-derived polio virus in environmental samples. We picked it in samples, in sewage samples. I think one was in Banjul, the other one in Fajikunda area. And then sometimes we also take samples from the Kotu sewage dump site. So it was in these samples that the vaccine-derived polio virus was detected. And then it genetically was similar to what was also detected in some two other countries in the neighborhood. And it was even believed that these people might have passed through Gambia to those countries, because when they did the genetics of it, when they did the sequencing, they realized that those were related. So it is not that there is polio spread in the Gambia. We have not seen a single case of acute flaccid paralysis due to polio. But because our scientists, our surveillance officials, the public health officials, due to due diligence, they were able to pick this up. And when we pick it up, we announce it. And when we announce it, then this is it. So probably other countries, it is full there, they are not picking it up. So our efficiency sometimes brings about these problems. Thank you.
Next set of questions from this side.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mariam Kamara, a journalist. My question here is, what is being done in order to make sure that our medicines at the hospital are being distributed for their purpose? Because I've spent at least 1 month at the Edward Francis Teaching Hospital, and all that was available for my patient was just normal saline for 1 month. Just normal saline. And we spent close to $1,500 per day. And that's the smallest amount we spend per day. So I want to be sure that the medicines the minister said is available at hospitals when he visits is being distributed properly. Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening, Honorable Minister, Director of Services, ladies and gentlemen, and media houses. I am Yunus Ambai, the Senator for the University of the Gambia Students' Union. My question will come in the form of a plea. We have a lot of students, especially lactating mothers, coming to the University of the Gambia. We have young ladies also coming to the university who need actual health support from us, the Students' Union, as well as the management of the University of the Gambia. However, having this opportunity to come here face-to-face with the minister and his people, I believe it is better I put it this way. How best would you see it as part of your health policies to promote education across all sectors of the Gambia? Because you've made mention of a collaboration we have with the Ministry of Higher Education in terms of teaching people on sign language and others. So we believe your contribution to Ministry of Health could be directed to support the University of the Gambia as far as the females that I have just mentioned in terms of their reproductive attributes. Many of them come as pregnant ladies, some of them have medical issues. We need to address them, but we have limited resources. We have a gender and health minister, we have a union that is ready to support the students. However, we believe your ministry, in collaboration with us, the Students' Union, can help a lot of students. We have about 8,000 students coming to Faraba weekly. So this is a huge number that need support as far as medical health support.
What is your suggestion?
My suggestion is how best would it be if the ministry could help us in terms of providing an ambulance, a standby ambulance, and some of the medical needs that we may have, that is tablets. Thank you very much.
Maybe a clinic at the university?
Perhaps a clinic at the university, if possible. Thank you very much.
Next question, please.
Good evening. I am Lamin El Saya, the Information and Communications Minister of the University of the Gambia Students' Union. My question is directed to the Minister of Health. In your deliberation earlier, you had made mention that some Gambian suppliers are not patriotic. Patriotic in the sense that sometimes when it's time for them to deliver the supplies, they tend to dilly-dally. I will tend to quote your words. So my question is, what specifically is the Ministry of Health doing in order to help provide a solution to this problem? Because I think it is essential to find a more tangible alternative rather than relying on unpatriotic Gambians. So my suggestion would be, is it possible for the government or the Ministry of Health to import the medicine or other drugs on your own, or provide a means to do that, to be handled by government, rather than relying on the unpatriotic Gambians? Thank you.
All right. We'll come back to our guest to answer those three questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, if I may plead, you can ask your questions in the local languages as well, please. And also, our guest might also answer in the local languages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fortunately for Mariama, right? Mariama, the Chief Medical Director of the hospital, is here. So you will, now I said, each hospital that you have an issue with, hold the head of the hospital. So he's here. So he will answer, then if I have to add anything, I will. But for Ms. Ambai, thank you for letting us know, because we said, as I said earlier, good ideas could come from anywhere, anybody. Now, the Honorable Minister said probably a clinic. So your minister is my very good brother. We will discuss that, inshallah, to see, so that we provide what it needs, and then you provide the space in the clinic. But today, I promise you, inshallah, we'll give you an ambulance. Okay, thank you. For, I think, Mr. Njai, yes, who spoke about the drug issue, what we are doing. Yes, you are very right. That kind of situation is not tenable, it's not sustainable. So we are having a stakeholder meeting very soon to look at those possibilities of seeing what we can do to ensure that these people do not participate. So that we have options that we are looking at very soon, inshallah, we'll come to a conclusion so that this will be a thing of the past. Thank you very much for your suggestion.
CMD, you want to answer the question from the young lady? Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable, and thank you for the questions. First of all, we want to say that in the Gambia now, I think this is the greatest time somebody can have like cardiac problem than in the past. Right now, we have a Gambian cardiologist. We have a professor of cardiology. We have another specialist cardiology. The main problem in Nemban is the space. And very soon, we set up a committee that's already working on moving. We've already, GAM works has already handed over, and we are working on the movement to that place. So normally at the A&E, they stabilize. In the Gambia now, we have a cardiac center, and we are working towards having a cath lab. So yeah, we understand the space issue. Buneka at Nemban, why inshallah we will improve on that. Very soon, si lu dul yàgga dinañ move te loolu yëpp dina wàññeeku léegi Nemban dafa nekk place pour trauma comme ñu am accident wala ñu am neurological problems wala plastic surgery. Then inshallah anybody ko am any other problem na A&E di nga nekk within Banjul, so dafa easy. Cardiac center bi mu ngi fa, A&E bi, X-ray, CT scan. Like, so if anything say A&E just to stabilize you, they can move you straight to the cardiac center. You have the best care you can ever have in the Gambia as far as history is concerned. So with regards to kinum ko wahe affaire garabi. So for Rock's Legacy Blopitan, we make sure life-saving drugs that ñu ko am. So we then ko prioritize. Was for example, Lopitan bi state of the art testing investigative yupang fa. So pathologists will only machine you gis Gambia as lab gisut ko many places in this country. Tekoko is a professor of pathology from Nigeria. So World Bank spent with the Ministry of Health $3.1 million buying just laboratory equipment. So laboratory equipment yeb ñu fa so demé Brikama everywhere laboratory equipment move. So EFST luñ def moy ministry bi jox nañu yeb légui ñun luñ wara provide rek moy reagent. Légui luñ def moy dañ am collaboration ak yenen farms yu nekk ci Gambia, so ñuy woga ñom ñuy provide reagents di maintain suñ machines yi nga xamne continuously and make sure that reagents for lab bi dafa always available. So that type of partnership line am, and we've signed it. So with regards to the drugs, garabi every time ni nga dégg nit di wax ne paracetamol sa amut lopitani Banjul parce que garab yu gëna important yooyu leen dee jënda yooyu nit pour dem théâtre yooyu nit pour life saving loolu tax mën ngaa ñëw si lopitaan ñu joxuñ la paracetamol. Why when you want to have surgery you have that. When you want right now you have to pay a token for that. So you have to pay for a little bit of all the sudul sustainable. So for now the government of course highly subsidized. Lower pay 60,000 si biti ñu la charge 2,000. Te so demee Senegal with the same test, excluding tests, plain boy gel and everything, you are pay minimum of 85,000 for those tests. So healthcare is very cheap in Gambia, especially in a specialized hospital. Sometimes you have drugs you have specialized in their out, so maybe you will be asked to buy. While a lot of the fake there is a delay in certain drugs you want to know. Comme minister for example, you have a supplier, you supplier you are prepare for that time. So you know it in time. So you need resources then go to specialized drugs. Then we make sure you get all other types of drugs. So I think a situation will more happen than those type of situations come you arise. Thank you.
Okay, next set on this side, from this side, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Honorable ministers are present here. Good evening to you all. I am Binta Esba from Musa Molo's Online TV. My first question, Honorable Minister, is that previously the country primary health care was very strong and this reduced the border on tertiary hospital, but now it's the primary health care system seems to be weak. That's the current status quo of the country primary health care, and how do you intend to prove it? Thank you.
Good evening to you. I am Molokeda, a student from the University of the Gambia. My question is regarding the Farado Teaching Hospital. What means or plan that your ministry have put in place regarding the accommodation crisis that our fellow university students, that is the medical, allied health science students, what have you put in place to solve that problem that our fellow students are facing at the University of the Gambia?
Thank you very much. You mean the students from the School of Medical and Allied Health Sciences? All right, thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Omar Fay, and I work for the State TV. Honorable Minister, during your deliberations, I was keen to hear you mention issues of mental health, which is becoming a global issue or a phenomenon, I can say. And according to a data that we receive, it says almost 27,000 people are suffering from severe mental health and substance abuse disorder. And this was a report that was released in 2012. I couldn't get the updated version, but I believe the number must have risen from now. Do you have plans to upgrade the Tanka psychiatrists? And are there further trainings or trainings of health experts with regards to handling cases of mental health in the country? Because even nowadays you see a lot of mental health people in our streets and everywhere in the corner of the Gambia. Do you have plans to upgrade that center and make it more successful?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. With regards to Binta's question, primary health care, I totally agree with you, is the bedrock of sustainable healthcare service delivery. Because quite a lot of items, quite a lot of illnesses could be dealt with or prevented if we had the care that they should get at the primary health care level. So there are challenges. Yes, we have a primary health care unit, and they're doing quite a lot. But we have a program which will soon start, inshallah, called the Primary Healthcare Revitalization Program. So we are revitalizing the primary healthcare services across the length and breadth of this country. Close to half of the villages and towns in this country have primary healthcare services. But we want to make it 100%. Because since we believe it is useful, so if something is useful, some should not get it and others go without it. Everyone should benefit from it. So now we are, and partners, fortunately, all our partners agree to that. We have been advocating for that. Our multilateral partners and bilateral partners, so that we get the primary healthcare structures, village health workers, community health workers in each of these villages, so that they are able to go visit that family in their home where a child is having fever. They go and check that patient who is coughing. They are able to pick up cases of tuberculosis early. They are able to show signs of pregnancies that are problematic, because if we have a primary health care worker in a village and a woman is pregnant and we teach them, these are the signs of, for example, preeclampsia. When they see that, they will tell this woman, you need help, and they will bring that woman early. So we strongly believe in it, and for the government's universal health coverage strategy, primary health care will form the bedrock. So we are happy to relay that here. But of course, at this juncture, it's important for us to talk about the health insurance scheme. It is because of this universal health care system that the government of His Excellency introduced health insurance scheme here, and it is being piloted. 13 health facilities are participating currently. Inshallah, very soon, every Gambian will be a health insurance holder, and the issue of drugs too, and paying on spot, paying at service points will not be happening, Mariama, because everybody will get a health insurance card, and when people go to health facilities, they will present that card and they will get the services and the drugs. So we are rolling that out gradually. Very soon, inshallah, it will be nationwide, and that will be a thing of the past. Unfortunately, I missed your name. You are speaking on behalf of your colleagues at the medical school. with regards to, yes, the Farato Teaching Hospital is coming. I think it's a very good observation. If we have a teaching hospital, where do the students stay? So fortunately, your minister, the Minister of Higher Education, has thought of it too, and he has come forward to us, and we have met with Dr. Bite when he was the director, and we have put forward strategies so that the teaching hospital is there, but we equally have the accommodation and even the classrooms, because it's not everything the teaching hospital teaches is done on the wards. Some are done in seminar rooms and classrooms, so that those possibilities are also there in Farato, instead of duplicating that in Faraba, since we don't even have the resources. So we are working on that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mental health, yeah. Mr. Fai. Yes, you are very right. Mental health is a big problem, not just in Gambia, but throughout the world. But it is becoming a bigger problem here. We've seen quite a lot of youth being affected. Quite a lot of, and unfortunately, quite a number of cases we see at Tanka, the psychiatric hospital, are related to substance abuse. So substance abuse has become a very, very big problem for all of us. So with regards to upgrading the Tanka hospital, yes, it is part of our plans. But we are also working on even making it semi-autonomous. That means separating it a little bit, because currently it's being managed by Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. So we said if it gets its own budget entity, if it gets its own management, they will pay more attention to it, and that is very, very near. In fact, those things have been approved. Now, yes, we are training some people. There's a Gambian who is being trained in psychiatry in one of the West African countries, and gradually we are training nurses, but more people need to be trained. So recently we concluded what we call, with the support of the WHO, a mental health investment case. Now that is looking at all these challenges, where the gaps are, when it comes to infrastructure gaps, when it comes to drug supply gap for mental health patients, when it also comes to skill gaps for the mental health care units and so on and so forth. So that investment case is being developed. And fortunately, this lady here in front, Ms. Fatmata Koma, has been spearheading that for us. And we got a very good document that we are going to share with partners and work on to guide our national response to mental health. However, we also use this opportunity to appeal to all of you. We can all contribute to mental health issues in this country. We can prevent people from substance abuse. Some people, your peer groups probably will listen to you more than to me. So use your leverage to encourage them not to use substances that are not supposed to be used. So everybody, so I think we should, each and every one of us should task ourselves to ensure that we talk to someone to refrain from using these substances. So I think by the end of the year, or next year, that should be our New Year resolution, help prevent mental health. Because really, government also needs to be supported. Sometimes people believe government should do everything. But for communities, for society, individuals also need to stand by government to achieve the result. No government can do it all alone in this world without the support of the citizenry. So we also urge you to support.
Thank you very much. I think just a follow-up to that, there's a question that came in through the text message because you spoke about the national health insurance. It says that, good evening, everyone. My question to the minister is that why are the government hospitals not using the insurance cards the government issued during the registration of the new birth certificates? That is the first question. The second question has to do also with mental health. I think you did indicate that the majority of the cases at Tanka are related to substance abuse. What is the strategy? Are you going to build rehab centers? Because if it's established that the problem is substance abuse, then they have no business in Tanka, because Tanka I think is geared towards mental health and not rehabilitation. Now, are there plans in place to build more rehab centers so we can be able to put these young people under proper rehabilitation so we can reintegrate them back into society?
Yeah, thank you very much. With regards to the ID card, I mean the the insurance card being used for the registration to getting the birth certificate. Of course, for the birth certificate, there are certain documents that should be, because that is what is in the rules. And also one reason is the insurance card is not just for Gambians. It's for anyone who is in Gambia. So getting an insurance card certainly doesn't mean that one is Gambian or not, right? But they're actually looking at all these things because fortunately we've covered over 1 million people who have gotten these cards now, and those were not the major problems. But the challenges encountered are being looked at to see where the improvements can be made in the subsequent, expansion of the problem. So the insurance card, you see, for every system of insurance, there are people, well, in Gambia, there are people who are going to be completely exempted. Yes, completely exempted from paying any premiums. But there are people who are going to be contributing premiums. And the premiums are going to be determined. But of course, insurance, as the name implies, it is not paying the actual price or the actual cost of the service by the individual. Individuals don't pay for the actual cost. The premiums, which are meager, because resources are pulled together. So, and it's not everybody who contributes uses those services at the same time. So the resources pulled together, people who need the services, irrespective of how small the premium is, they benefit from it. So that's the concept of insurance schemes. Now, with regards to mental health issues, yes. So we need a rehab center, and we're talking to partners, and we've already spoken to a partner that is listening and willing to support us in that line. But of course, when the problem evolves and becomes a mental health issue, then they probably also need mental health services. Okay. So sometimes you mix them. Sometimes they are even together. Or in some mental health facilities, you have a portion of the facility that is dedicated for rehab.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This side, please. 3 questions, quickly.
Yes, good evening. My name is Mohammed Keita. I am the Gender and Health Minister for the University of the Gambia Students Union. So, Doctor, I would like to give you a quick breakdown. Health Minister, of course. The University of the Gambia, like my senator said, has 8,000 students, and 3/4 of all these 8,000 commute to Faraba for classes. And one of the goals of universal primary healthcare is to make sure that healthcare is accessible to individuals. But this is not the case in Faraba. And one of the things we have done as a student union with the management is to make sure that we have a sick bay at the University of the Gambia campus. But this sick bay is not equipped to capacity, and it's run by students, myself, plus other nursing volunteer students who mount this place. So I'm not here to make demands, but just suggestions, because our preliminary suggestion was to have a trained personnel stationed at that sick bay. I would first like to say that we've reached out for certain individuals for support, and I'm glad to say that Dr. Bite here have supported us with nebulized and massing, which is very helpful for that matter, and thank you for that, sir. And this is very in use, but the capacity of the people running this particular place are not up to par. Myself, I'm a public health officer, and I have volunteer nurses running there. So I would suggest if you can get a nurse, let's say from any of the facilities in Western 2, to at least serve even a single shift at the sick bay, because we see complicated cases there, people, students fainting while in class, and others having complicated issues. That is one. And I'm glad that you've said you'll donate us an ambulance, because we have complicated issues which need quick referrals, but we have problem referring them. We even have to use some of the vehicles of our lecturers. And I'm glad that you'll say you will donate this. But before the facility will be built, which you said you will discuss with the Minister of Higher Education, we would like for you to at least station a nurse at the Faraba sick bay. We already have the complex, and there are some medications and a nebulization machine, like I said, given by Dr. Bide. To have a trained nurse at least stationed there for a single shift to take care of these issues, 1. And 2, for it to be treated like any other outpatient with at least minimum supply or whatever is available at the central medical store, for this place to be equipped to handle some of these cases you'll be seeing. So I want to know if you can make a commitment.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Next,
you.
please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yahya Jammeh, a student from the University of the Gambia. The Honorable Minister one time mentioned that you always have problems with drug suppliers to the Gambia. Last week, I went with my mom to the hospital, Serekunda General Hospital. And after the long queue, she went to the lab and been diagnosed. Then she went to the doctor, but she was only given one tablet of medicine. And the rest of the medicine, she was directed to go to the pharmacies. My question is, why is it that the pharmacy has better, or maybe more, perhaps better medicines than that of the hospital? That is my question.
Thank you. I think we've got 3 questions there, or it's only 2? No, let's do one more, please. We'll take one more question from that side, please.
So thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sini, and I am also from the University of Gambia. Dr. Samate did mention about the MRI, the CT scan, and we all know that cancer is rising in the Gambia, especially in women, both cervical and breast cancer, and there is no proper treatment in the Gambia. So I want to ask Dr. Samate, what is your ministry doing in terms of building a cancer hospital in the Gambia?
A cancer hospital?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, Honorable, before you answer that question, it just came to my mind. You know, we're in Breast Cancer Week. Someone asked me, why don't we see a mammogram in the Gambia, or if we are planning to have one?
Yeah, thank you very much. I start with Mr. Keita Muhammad. Yeah, so our team, our school health team unit, there's a unit responsible for school health. They will sit with you and then look at that. So this you are saying is possible, and inshallah we'll make it happen, right? Provide healthcare workers, and then also give you some equipment, basic diagnostic equipment, and also someone to support the people. Wherever you have people, we are concerned. And that number of people who gather there are part and parcel of the society of this country. So we will certainly do that, inshallah, right? So our team is writing this down, and they will follow up. You exchange contacts so that can be facilitated. Mr. Boja Lamin did say the issue of why the outside pharmacy has the drugs and so on. You see, government procurement is different. Outside individuals can go anywhere and buy. They just have their monies, their funds, and they decide where they buy from, and they go and buy and bring. Government, unfortunately, is not like that. Government, there are rules. They are good rules. But sometimes it causes challenges, you know, especially if we need to buy things urgently. Because you also have to follow the rules. The rules are actually safeguards so that people also don't abuse them. If those rules were also not there, some people could also abuse the situation. That's why government procurement follows procurement rules. So there is a government entity, a whole authority called Gambia Public Procurement Authority. So they have rules set aside for all government procurement to follow. So sometimes there are challenges. But the point is, these procurement rules were followed in this case. But some people win. They follow the rules and win, and they don't deliver on time. Now, when they don't deliver in time, what do you do? Then you now start to follow the law for the law to deal with them. But in following the law too, time is going. We need the drugs. But we cannot also, you see, that's democracy. When people do wrong, you follow the law to deal with them. So it is not so straightforward, so easy. We would have dealt with them, you know, long before now, but we have to follow the law so for the law to prevail. Now, but we are looking at possible solutions, as our other brother said earlier, to resolve the problem. Inshallah, it will be a thing of the past. But of course, as Dr. Bide earlier also said, healthcare service delivery is not easy, it's not cheap. Yes, here it is very highly subsidized. My brothers here from Nigeria, I'm sure they are listening, when we say almost everything is free in the hospitals. I did my first part of my training in Nigeria as a house officer. When patients came to the hospital, as we diagnosed them, the next thing is we write a list of what they need. Injection, syringe and needle, cotton wool, plaster, medication, the fluid, and we give it to them and they go and buy. And as they bring it, we admit them. They are here. I don't know if it's changed now. It's the same. Yes. This is what prevails in some other countries. So Gambia, yes, we want to do more and more. And you know the resources of Nigeria is much more than that of Gambia, isn't it? I'm not picking Nigeria for any reason, just because we have some Nigerian brothers here who are our guests, and they decided to be part of the process. That's why I just wanted to mention that, not to picking it for any reason. Right?
You have a final question to answer?
Yeah, but the final question is the cancer hospital, the MRI and so on. Yes, you have a strong point. So it is very, very high on our agenda. We have established, for the first time in the history of this country now, a cancer control program, identifying the challenges of cancer we have in this country. We had a malaria control program before, tuberculosis and leprosy control program. We never had cancer control program. We never had hepatitis control program. But these past 2 years, we established program units, and they are headed by people, Gambians, and they are looking at this. So we are partnering with the International Atomic Energy Agency to support us establish a cancer center in the Gambia. So a lot of steps have taken place, and His Excellency also is looking at other ideas of supporting us so that we also have a cancer control center. And he's also going, cancer oncology center, we call it, cancer center, and it's also going to be in Farato there. Yeah. So that plan is very, very advanced with regards to what we are doing in our strategies. But just to also, before I wrap up, at the Farato Teaching Hospital there, inshallah, from January, we will start the construction of an open heart surgery center. It's going to be a multi-purpose theater where we're going to have open heart surgery, and equally we are going to have a kidney transplantation right there in Farato. So a lot is happening. Gambia is a low-income country, but nation building takes time. You know, we didn't meet all this, but we see the need to build them, and we are building them, and eventually, inshallah, we will get there.
Thank you very much. We have only 10 more minutes. We will take 3 questions from this side, and the final 3 from that side, and then we will wrap this session up. Now we'll take 3 questions from this side, please. Yeah, and very quickly, please, this time.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Matar Jose from the TFM. I have a question, a very critical question at this moment. There have been a growing concern about the many deaths of pregnant women in the Gambia, in the hospitals. Can you outline the ministry plan to tackle the higher mortality rate in the Gambia?
Thank you. Next, please.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Of course, my name is Mamadi Jallo from Samuel Online TV. Minister, recently you were at the National Assembly with your delegation and your team as well, with the Medicine Control Agency. And discussion centers on the complaint of importers, affecting the availability of medicine. From this session, it seems some of the deputies, and of course, want to compromise with the rules setting medicines availability in the country, especially those rules. I believe relaxing on some of this or compromises with some of this. My question is, should be your focus be on availability or safety of medicine? Thank you very much.
Availability or safety. All right, final questions from this side.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Suwaibu Dabo from the University of the Gambia. I want to begin by saying health is very critical for multi-sectoral approach. And I believe that all sectors or most sectors in the government are determinants of health. So therefore, what is your ministry doing to build that synergy with other sectors in factoring out determinants of health and what to do about them? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I missed the name, but you asked about maternal mortality. Maternal mortality is of immense concern to everybody because, as I kept on saying, pregnancy and childbirth are supposed to be times of joy, not times of sorrow. So we are all very concerned. Every maternal death is a death too many. So even a single one, we do not want it. And we strive to do our best, inshallah, to avert maternal mortalities. Gambia's maternal mortality ratio, but of course, as you discuss these things, you have to do comparison across countries. But just to let you know, Gambia's maternal mortality rate is the lowest in our sub-region. It's the lowest. You can find that when you go out from here. Now, it even being lowest, it's even coming down further. Now, during the last demographic health survey 2019-2020, even before then, in 2013, it was about 433 per 100,000 live births. Then 2019-2020, it became 289 per 100,000 live births. The next demographic health survey has not been carried out yet, but using this service information, because we have a unit that's very much responsible for that, it was even lower at 244 per 100,000 live births. In fact, it is even said that institutional mortality is about 179 per 100,000 live births. So these are remarkable decreases in maternal mortality ratio in the Gambia, and we want that to be further reduced. But I must tell you, government has taken quite a lot of strategies in ensuring a decline in maternal mortality. I'm sure you all remember, for the first time in the history of this country, His Excellency brought community ambulances. This is a big innovation that I have not seen in many West African countries, whereby these ambulances stay in the communities. When a woman is pregnant and is in labor, it just picks that woman to the nearest health facility. Before this, pregnant women had to be ferried on donkey carts, horse carts, to health facilities, in some cases motorbikes. So yesterday, when I was coming from the provinces, as we were going to visit, we met with the ambulance, and as we were coming back, the ambulance was going back. I felt a sense of pride, a sense of internal joy that this ambulance, community ambulance, has actually taken a sick patient from a place where even people were afraid. There were times that pregnant woman on donkey cart was attacked by what? Wolves. This has all been averted. With increased training of obstetricians and gynecologists, with provision of blood transfusion centers for women who actually bleed, maternal mortality will continue to go down, inshallah.
Thank you very much. What was the next question again? Quickly. We have only 4 minutes more to close this session.
Yeah, multi-sectoral. Yeah, the Ministry of Health certainly, healthcare service delivery is certainly multi-sectoral. So we have been collaborating with many sectors within government itself. We collaborate with many ministries, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Higher Education, and so on and so forth. So it is multi-sectoral. But of course, we externally also, we collaborate with NGOs, we collaborate with external partners and so on. But of course, one thing we think is very important is community participation in healthcare service delivery. The communities need to be empowered. They need to be empowered to take care of their own health. They need to be empowered to be equipped with the information that can make them have choices that are useful, that are beneficial, that are positive. And we are engaging them, and then community participation is very high. We have our health promotion unit. They're always in the community, engaging the people to teach them of health issues, and to bring them on board so that they understand and also participate in healthcare provision.
Thank you. Do you want to have a final word? Just quickly, and then we'll round up, yes.
Thank you very much. You asked the Honorable Minister a question about mammogram. Yeah. I want to say that the EFSTH mammogram is functional, working very well. And tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we are doing a breast cancer screening. And the first 15 mammogram requested will be for free. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Just give me 1 minute. I have a final question. Couple of weeks ago, there was a report on the news that operations were halted at the EFSTH because of lack of water. How true is this?
No, I have to, first of all, say that I have to thank NAWEC. They are so helpful to the hospital, and you know, those things have been resolved. The MD of NAWEC himself came 3 times over the last week to ensure that we've sorted that problem. So the problem was that the source, when they pump, our tanks were not enough to sustain for a long time. So midway, sometimes they have to pump again, the water go down. But now what they did, they do another diversion. Now we are a sort of continuous water supply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this week's MANSA KUNDA. I thank the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Samate, and his entire team. I thank all the media houses, our media partners. I thank our guests who are here today and the students from the university, and also all students, all citizens who are here today asking these pertinent questions. I think it's very clear we've made inroads in the health sector. Not only is it accessible, but also we provide quality healthcare with dignity. We're not only building the infrastructure, we are also buying the equipment, modern, ultra-modern equipment, but also training health personnel to be able to serve the public. What is important is that, Dr. Samate, as you go back to work, remember what the young lady said, access to healthcare should be for everyone, regardless of your race, your gender, your nationality, your religion, but particularly your disability. People who have hearing difficulties or visually impaired must have access to healthcare, and I hope the healthcare sector will consider them as well. Thank you very much. Until we come your way in 2 weeks' time, have a very pleasant weekend. Thank you.
In its continued effort to improve healthcare access and quality across the Gambia, the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Health, has successfully